I truly believe that they will exclude your leatherback, your turtles with no problems at all. If the use is used properly and you use the grids that we recommend. Also, the larger grids are more effective at retaining bycatch and shrimp because there's more water volume passing through a larger grid as opposed to compressing everything down into a smaller area. I am 100% convinced that they would be effective here.
We'll take
done in Mexico and Costa Rica, which are the other mass breeding ground of turtle, olive-related turtle.
The TEDs are used in Costa Rica and they're used in Mexico. In Mexico, they have a 10-centimeter spacing, and in Costa Rica, they have approximately a 15-centimeter spacing. They get arribadas in Mexico of the Kemp's Ridley. And but I think in Mexico, trawling off of the nesting beaches is prohibited and it's enforced. So I don't know if I could really answer your question. And certainly in Costa Rica, which prides itself on its national parks and all that, and tourism, aimed at turtles, sure, they also have limited areas where trawlers aren't even allowed to come in close to the coastline. So that's a protection measure that many countries have. They do not let trawlers come in within a certain distance of the beach. They limit that to their artisanal fishermen. And some countries have even decided to eliminate their trawler fleets altogether. Venezuela, for example, has decided it's not even going to allow shrimp trawling. It's going to give it all to the artisanal fishermen.
Okay. Actually, this environmental clearance for this Damra Port project was granted during 2000 by the Ministry of Surface Transport. They had made certain stipulations and conditions. And while going through it, we found that there was nowhere it is specifically mentioned how to protect the olive-related turtles or all these things during that stipulation of conditions. But anyway, it is goodness of the port authorities that they have taken the help of the IUCN and asked them to advise them how these how these dredging operation and all these port activities will not affect or hamper the turtle congregation in the Gairimotha coast. But coming to one point, actually, if I go through the condition 3 of the I think clearance granted by the Department of Surface Transport, they had written that dredging operations, if any, we can mark the word if any, should be undertaken in consultation with either the Central Water and Power Research Station Pune or National Institute of Oceanography Goa or any other authorized agency to ensure that dredging operations do not cause adverse impact on water quality and marine productivity in the vicinity. Now, perhaps if any, why I am telling, I am emphasizing this word, perhaps at that time such a huge dredging operation was not envisaged. Now what was learnt that the dredging is going on over a length of 18 kilometer, depth is 18 meter and width is 250 meter. It is going around to be 80 million cubic meter of sand is going to be displaced by these dredging operations. So somewhere the vacuum is created, void will be created, and somewhere the sand is to be deposited. And the suggestions given by you or the ideas given by Mr. Eric, it is quite nice that the total mortality will not be much due to this dredging operation. But what I am apprehending, that whether there will be any impact on the turtle congregation in the nearby area or not because of these huge dredging operations. Because as my environmentalist friends, they know that once turtle get disturbed or they apprehend some danger, they may even go away without giving legs, without laying eggs. So I think the mass nesting, which we are not seeing last year and we may not see also this year, can it be due to this reason or there may be some other reasons also? Whether this dredging operation of this huge scale will be one of the reasons or not? Thank you.
In my opinion, and it's just an opinion, I'm not a geobiologist, but my understanding is that Bada did not arrive last year, and dredging has only been going on for how long? 12 months? My opinion is that no, the channel dredging is not affecting the nesting of the turtles. And I'm not basing it on studies, I'm basing it on my experience as a biologist, and over the years, sea turtles will often nest on a beach even when there's obstruction and there's background. The female will come and try and nest. The location of the project, of the port, of the channel is quite distant, quite removed from the nesting beaches. Now, I really don't think dredging has an impact other than to sea turtles, other than the actual take by the draghead. Now, the hydrogeology of the area will be affected by digging that deep. You know, how that's going to affect other species, the mangroves in the long term. The mangroves there are apparently changeable. They weren't there 30 years ago, now they are. The island wasn't there 30 years ago. There's a lot of variables, but all I can address is what actually happens. The dredge takes the turtles or doesn't. We can come up with ways to minimize that to insignificant levels. I really don't think it's going to affect the Arribada. I don't think it has affected the Arribada. I think there's other factors at play. But